Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here again to slice through the noise and really get to the heart of some compelling ideas you've shared with us. And today, well, we're tackling some big questions, really fundamental stuff. What is truth? How do we find wisdom? And maybe the most intriguing part, why do we humans often seem to, well, resist it, even when it's staring us in the face? For this deep dive, we've got quite a mix of sources lined up. We're drawing from some really foundational scriptural texts, specifically Paul's letter, 1 Timothy.
Right, writing to that early church community.
Exactly. And then we've got the Psalms, that poetic wisdom, and pieces from the Gospels, Luke and John, giving us snapshots of Jesus' life and words. Plus, we're blending in a contemporary spiritual reflection to kind of bridge these ancient ideas into our lives today.
That's a great combination.
Yeah. So our mission really is to unpack what these different voices, ancient and modern, tell us about how we recognize wisdom, and crucially, how we embrace it, especially when it pushes against what we already think or believe.
When it makes us uncomfortable.
Precisely. Exploring what it really takes to open ourselves up to these deeper truths. Okay, let's unpack this.
It's a rich set of texts, and despite being ancient, they really do hit on struggles we still have today, trying to figure out what's true, what to hold on to. What stands out right away for me is where they anchor truth. It's quite a bold claim.
Totally. And that's where our first source, 1 Timothy, kicks things off. Paul's giving guidance on how to behave in the household of God. But the phrase that just leaps out is how he describes this household, the church. It's not just a club or meeting place. He calls it the church of the living God, the pillar and foundation of truth. When you hear pillar and foundation, what does that really signify? What kind of role is that for a community?
What's fascinating here is the imagery. It's so deliberate. A foundation, well, it's the base, isn't it? Often unseen, but everything rests on it. It gives stability.
Right, the bedrock.
Exactly. And then a pillar that's visible. It holds things up, provides structure, makes a statement. So this isn't just saying the church has truth or believes truth. It's saying it actively upholds it, supports it, makes it stand firm. It suggests truth isn't just this, abstract thing you find on your own. It's something collectively guarded, supported, made visible by a community, which is kind of a radical thought today when truth often feels so personal or subjective. It implies a shared responsibility.
That puts a lot of weight on the community, doesn't it? Not just receiving truth, but actively presenting and sustaining it. Wow. And 1 Timothy digs even deeper. It talks about this undeniably great mystery of devotion. That phrase itself sounds huge.
It does. It signals something core, something profound.
Yeah, and they'll list these attributes almost like points in a creed. Who was manifested in the flesh, vindicated in the spirit, seen by angels, proclaimed to the Gentiles, believed in throughout the world, taken up in glory. It's a lot packed into one sentence. How do those pieces fit together to define this central truth?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, well, look at the progression. Manifested in the flesh that grounds it, makes it historical, tangible, something real happen. Vindicated in the spirit that points to divine confirmation. It wasn't just a human idea. It had spiritual power backing it up, proving it true.
Got it.
And then the scope just explodes outwards, right? Seen by angels, proclaimed to the Gentiles, that's huge, breaking out beyond just one group believed in throughout the world.
Yeah.
It's painting a picture of a truth that's not local or niche. It's universal. It has this divine origin, a global reach, and an impact that lasts. It's making a massive claim about its significance.
So both deeply rooted in a specific historical moment, but also reaching out universally, eternally. That's quite a bridge. And this idea of divine works and their impact, it leads us really smoothly into the next source, Psalm 111. This one shifts the mood, doesn't it? More towards gratitude, awe.
Absolutely. It's all about appreciating the divine actions.
It starts with such warmth. I will give thanks to the Lord with all my heart, sets that tone immediately. And then it describes God's works as great, exquisite in all their delights. I love that word, exquisite. It's not just powerful, but intricate, beautiful, satisfying.
It suggests a depth and a richness to them.
Yeah. And the song goes on, describing the character behind these works. Majesty and glory are his work, and his justice endures forever. Okay, strong, reliable. He has one renowned for his wondrous deeds. Gracious and merciful is the Lord. So justice, yes, but also grace and mercy. How does that combination, this idea that the source of truth is both just and merciful, how should that shape how we see the truth itself?
This raises an important question, I think. How does understanding God's character, this blend of perfect justice and deep mercy, affect how we receive the truth he offers? It suggests the truth isn't just a cold set of rules or facts. It's coming from a place that balances righteousness, what's right, with compassion, with redemption. So, this dual nature implies a kind of wisdom that understands both the standard and the struggle. It means the truth isn't arbitrary. It's trustworthy because it stems from this fundamentally good, ordered yet benevolent intention. For us, maybe it means that even when truth feels hard or challenging, it's ultimately coming from a place of care and ultimate good, not just judgment.
That's a really important distinction. Reliable, yes, but also benevolent. Okay. And this theme of reliability and even transformation pops up again in Psalm 19, doesn't it? Verse 7. The law of the Lord is perfect, refreshing the soul.
Such a beautiful line.
The statutes of the Lord are trustworthy, making wise the simple.
What does it mean for a law, which we sometimes think of as restrictive, to be perfect and actually refreshing?
Well, it reframes law completely, doesn't it? It's not just about don't do this. It's perfect, meaning complete, whole, and refreshing the soul that suggests deep inner renewal, like getting a drink of cool water when you're thirsty. It revitalizes your spirit.
Okay, I like that. And because the statutes, the specific guidelines, are trustworthy, they have this active power. They make the simple wise. It's not saying only wise people can get it. It's saying the law itself elevates understanding, brings clarity, guides anyone, no matter their starting point, towards real wisdom. Not just head knowledge, but that deeper knowing. It suggests divine truth offers order, peace, and is accessible.
So wisdom isn't some elite thing. It's offered through these trustworthy words available to everyone. That's quite a promise. And this builds perfectly to that Alleluia verse from John's Gospel. Your words, Lord, are spirit and life. You have the words of everlasting life. It just sums it all up, doesn't it? The vitality of it all.
Exactly. These aren't dead letters on a page. They're living, breathing truths that offer life itself. Deep, everlasting life.
Okay, so we have this foundation of truth upheld by community, rooted in a God who is just and merciful, offering words that are perfect, refreshing, life-giving. You'd think everyone would jump at it.
You would think.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Our gospel reading from Luke, it throws a bit of cold water on that idea. It shows the human side, the resistance. Jesus asked this question, to what shall I compare the people of this generation? What are they like? And his answer is, well, it's pretty pointed.
It really is.
He says they're like children who sit in the marketplace and call to one another, we played the flute for you, but you did not dance. We sang a dirge, but you did not weep. It's this image of just refusing to engage. No matter the tune, joy or sorrow, they just sit there. Arms crossed, maybe.
It's such a striking metaphor, and it's more than just being fickle. It points to this deep-seated human tendency to resist any call to respond, doesn't matter what it is. Joyful music, nope. Sad song, not feeling it. It suggests a kind of stubborn contrariness, a refusal to participate in the emotional or spiritual life being offered.
Like finding fault is the default setting.
Exactly. Choosing to stay aloof, maybe, rather than engaging with what's presented. We've all felt that, right? Being told something important and just not wanting to hear it. But this feels even deeper.
And Jesus makes it concrete. He gives specific examples of how people reacted to very different messengers. John the Baptist and himself, the Son of Man. He points out that John the Baptist lived this really austere life, right? Came neither eating food nor drinking wine, fasting out in the wilderness.
Very ascetic, yeah.
And how did people respond? They dismissed him. He is possessed by a demon. Too intense, too weird, basically.
Written off.
Okay, but then Jesus himself, the Son of Man, came eating and drinking. He lived among people, went to dinners, engaged in normal life. Much more relatable, you'd think.
You would.
And what was the accusation against him? Ah, look, a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners, so too worldly, hangs out with the wrong crowd.
It's the ultimate catch-22, isn't it? Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Exactly. You can't win. One is too withdrawn, the other is too engaged.
And what's fascinating here is it reveals the core issue isn't really the messenger's style, is it? Whether they're ascetic or sociable, the judgments are contradictory. It shows a prior disposition to criticize, to reject. People were looking for reasons, any reason, to dismiss the message, rather than genuinely listening with an open heart. It exposes that tendency we have to find fault. Maybe because the message itself makes us uncomfortable, we find an excuse in the messenger. It's a powerful look at how easily we rationalize our resistance.
Oof. Yeah, that's a bit uncomfortable to think about. It really does hold up a mirror. How often do we do that? But Jesus doesn't just leave it there on that negative note. He gives this final, almost defiant line. But wisdom is vindicated by all her children. What does vindicated mean there? Does it mean wisdom eventually convinces the critics that everyone finally gets it?
That's a really important clarification. No, vindicated here doesn't mean wisdom wins the argument or gets universal applause, especially not from those who are determined to resist. Instead, it means wisdom proves its own truth, its own value, through the results it produces in the lives of those who do embrace it. Her children are the ones who listen, who accept, who live it out. Their lives, maybe their peace, their clarity, their transformation that becomes the evidence. That's the proof that wisdom works, that it's true. It doesn't need the approval of its critics. Its power is shown in those who embody it.
So it's less about winning debates and more about the undeniable reality of changed lives. That's powerful. And that connects so perfectly to the contemporary reflection we looked at. It really tries to pull all these threads together for us right now. So what's the takeaway? What does this all mean for us?
Well, the reflection puts it pretty directly, connecting back to Jesus's words in Luke. It challenges us, personally. Is my heart open to God's wisdom, or is it closed off? Maybe by pride, by stubbornness.
Yeah, it forces that self-examination. Am I like the kid in the marketplace just refusing to dance or weep?
Yeah.
Or am I actually trying to listen?
Exactly. And the core insight, the real nugget in the reflection is this. True wisdom comes not from constant judgment, but from humility and openness to God's truth. That's probably the key takeaway for you listening.
Humility and openness, not judgment.
Right. It's suggesting a shunned posture. Away from always critiquing, always finding fault, which often comes from pride, thinking we know best, towards a posture of, humble reception, being teachable. Humility creates that inner space, doesn't it? Space for something new, for God's truth to actually get in and maybe change us, even if it's hard to hear sometimes.
And the reflection gives us more than just an idea. It includes a call to action, right? Let us choose to listen and respond with faith rather than resistance. It emphasizes that it's an active choice.
It is. It's intentional. And practically cultivating that humility. Well, the reflection suggests it means consciously choosing to listen more to God's word and less to my own opinions.
Okay, but what does that look like day to day?
Good question. I mean, it could be small things. Maybe pausing before jumping in with a counter argument when you hear something challenging. Maybe really trying to understand someone else's perspective derived from faith, not just to debate it, but to genuinely grasp it. It's about consciously dialing back our own ego, our instant judgments, our preconceived notions, and creating that quiet space inside to really hear. It's not a one-time thing. It's like a daily practice, choosing curiosity over defensiveness.
Listening more to God's word, less to my own opinions. That's a constant balancing act, I suppose. Acknowledging our opinions have value, but they aren't the only lens.
Precisely. It's about aligning ourselves little by little with that deeper wisdom being offered.
Wow. Okay, so quite the journey today. We started with the church as this pillar and foundation, holding up truth. We reflected on God's great works, the trustworthy law that refreshes and makes wise.
The words of everlasting life.
Exactly. But then we had to face that uncomfortable reality of human resistance. Our tendency to be like those kids in the marketplace, finding fault with John's seriousness and Jesus' sociability.
The reluctance to engage.
Yeah. But the powerful conclusion is that wisdom doesn't need the approval of the unwilling. It's vindicated, proven true by the lives of all her children, those who choose humility, openness, and actually live it out.
Its truth becomes evident in its transformative power.
It really brings us back to those words of everlasting life. This isn't just abstract theology. It's about a living truth that can genuinely change us.
And maybe as you go about your day, you could carry that question from the reflection with you. It's a practical one to mull over.
Which one was that?
How can you practice humility today by listening more to God's word and less to your own opinions?
That's a good one. A direct challenge to move from resistance to reception. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you'll carry that thought with you. Maybe look for small ways to practice that kind of listening today. We hope you'll join us again next time for another deep dive into fascinating topics right here on The Deep Dive.